Val Nichushkin is set to miss, quote, some time. And if history is any indication, that could pose a problem for the Colorado Avalanche. So let's talk about that on a new episode of Locked On Avalanche. Coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Micieli. With me, as always, Mr. Zach Pearson. Thank you for tuning in, making this your first listen of the day. And thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in the country. So thank you for tuning in again, making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciated for all of that stuff. If you want to get in on the conversation, then join our subtext. Link is in the show notes below. You chat with us one-on-one, get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, share it on this very podcast, which we will do a little bit later when we talk about the Buffalo Sabres coming to town. We have some predictions from the subtext crew. We were going to start Gavin Brindley extension, but that got pushed down a little bit, and we'll talk about that in the second segment because, like I said, Valeri Nichushkin is set to miss some time. He missed most of the third period in the game against Anaheim, and Jared Bednar has gone on to say lower body injury. He's talking with doctors. They're gonna I'm assuming update us whenever they know, but right now we got is lower body injury, and he's going to miss some time. None of it sounds good. And like the Avs, when they don't have him, they miss him dearly. So thoughts? What do you got?
My thoughts are exactly that. When the Avs do not have Nichushkin on the ice, they miss him greatly. I don't remember the number at the end of last season, but I feel like it was like double the amount of wins with Val versus without Val in the same sample size. And it is just crazy what he means to the team. My hope, and this is just hope and positivity here, is that Gabe Landeskog will bring some of that back, like some of what Val brings to the table, and that'll make up for some of it. But honestly, I have no idea. My other hope is that some time ends up being just a little bit, and we're not without Val for too long. Bednar was very vague on Altitude Sports Radio Wednesday morning. Not really a whole bunch of information that he gave out there. Just, not sure, no update. And then at the optional skate, that's when he said that he's going for imaging. They're going to do all the tests, and he's going to miss time. And no idea, no time frame, just some time.
I have the numbers for the entirety of his career with the Avalanche. I know last year the last couple years are pretty. They were, the difference was wide with him and without him, but it's also very wide for his entire career with the Avalanche. So with him, they are 235, 80, and 34. And without him, 296, 259, and 59. So with him, they're a 72% win percentage team, and without him, they're 530.
Brutal.
And that's since 2019, I want to say. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's wild. And you don't hear that from any other player. And the Avalanche have had injuries over and over and over again over the past number of years, and you never hear stats like that from any other player. Yeah, you miss guys when they're injured. That goes without saying. But you don't hear, the record like that and the difference between with him and without him. There's something going on there when Val Nichushkin, you know what it is. He's a great player. He's a dynamic player. He does so much for this team. So you get it, but it's just wild that he's the central focus of a good barometer of if this team wins and if this team loses, and how this team has gotten off for the start of this season. This is concerning. Like, this is going to be your first test without a doubt, because the numbers are what they are, and that's not just going back a year. We're going back 6 years now. So the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the record. This is going to be a test. You are going to be tested for the Avalanche, but I'm happy that they've gotten out to the start because they're a confident team. And they've always had that mentality of next man up, and whoever is, out, the next guy needs to come in, or whoever their placement is. And they've done, well. We've seen them get through injuries so many times. But not knowing how long this one is what's killing me, because is sometime a week or two, or is sometime a month or two. There's a big difference.
Right. Yeah, there really is. And that's going to be kind of what it boils down to. I wonder what they're going to do, because you still can't slot Logan O'Connor back in. This doesn't and it would have worked. If only Val could have waited 3 more weeks before getting injured, then LOC's back and we don't have to worry about this. I don't know who they're going to bring in. I mean, I got to think Nielsen, Makar, or maybe Gushin. But
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because they sometimes will give guys that you're not even thinking of. What's going on with Ivan? I haven't really heard. He's not injured,
like
right?
He's doing better in the AHL right now.
I'm sure.
Last I saw, he's doing all right with the Eagles, so that's another possibility. That's actually really weird. I didn't even think about him. He is so off my radar, and he was one of my more favorite young guys last year.
Yeah, I mean, and guys that have been given chances last year. You have Prishapov, who was up there for a handful of games last year.
I think he's still injured right now, though, on IR.
Is he injured?
Yep. At least according to Puckpedia, he's still on the injury reserve list.
Let me see where he is here. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, hold on. So, I know I asked you to be the co-host, but let me fact check.
I think just where we're going with this is it could be a number of guys. There's not that guy that, okay, we need a forward. This is who we go get, and we bring him up. So we'll see. But as far as the second line goes, I think you bring Gabe back up there for now. I don't think you try to extend Gavin Brindley too much and try to put him up there a little bit before he's ready. Yeah, he's playing great. We'll talk about him next, obviously, but I think that's a little bit of reach. No, I think the obvious answer here is go back to Gabe, and maybe that goal ignited something, and throw him back up there.
I think that absolutely. I think that makes the most sense. A Colton, Nelson, Landeskog line should, on paper, be really good.
Yeah.
I think you could pop Brindley even up to the third line, Brindley or Kelly. But I would actually Kelly's had a really good run of it too.
I know.
You can move either of those two to the third line and just kind of shuffle that, and then I don't know on Prishapov, but Kiviranta's skating again. LOC is getting closer, although I don't know that he's been on the ice or not. But then you can also bring up potentially an Ivan or a Nielsen or a Makar, because all those guys too can go back down, just without having to clear waivers. So that gives you a little bit of flexibility there for when either Kiwi or O'Connor come back. And so, you can definitely, that bottom 6 can be a little bit of kind of a shuffle around and see what fits the best. Brindley gets an opportunity. Kelly gets an opportunity. You could have something that works out pretty well. And if this goal,
go ahead.
If the goal for Landeskog does open up the floodgates, like we kind of were talking about on the last episode, then he should do great on the second line.
Yeah. Sounded like Kiviranta's a ways away. So I'm not banking on that anytime soon. O'Connor, we're kind of at the start of that time frame where he could be coming
back up. Yeah.
So that would take the sting out a little bit. I'm not saying Logan O'Connor does what Valeri Nichushkin does. It's just, getting an established guy back would be nice. It'd take the edge off a little bit. If he could come back earlier in this sometime that Nichuskin is about to miss than later. But overall, what's going on here? Because we even said at the beginning of this year, if Val can play a full season or close to it, miss handful of games, 5, 6, 7 is whatever, and give you a full year of not only stats, but just showing what he does on the ice, as, defensive forward, be on a lot more guys' radars. And injuries are injuries. I'm not saying, sometimes they're not preventable, but this is a problem with him. Like, we are going how many years in a row where there's an injury, never mind the suspension part of things, just the injury part of things. Like, he gets injured a lot. And he's a big guy. So that's a concern. That is a real concern for me. And maybe we'll get the answer back if the sometime he misses is only a couple weeks. Okay, like, I can deal with that, because guys are going to miss time during the season. Everybody's probably going to miss some time. But if this thing is one of those things, the Avalanche just seem to have this thing where you hear, like Kiviranta, like, you hear they have an injury and it just keeps going and going and going, and they're not back until like February. And that just seems to happen to Avalanche players a lot. I really hope that's not what happens with Nichuskin right here. So, but what's going on? Like, it's just is a yearly thing.
It is, and I've seen a bunch of comments on this too, where people are like, "Oh, yep, it's just that time of year where Val Nichushkin is injured once again, and he's going to miss some time." It is kind of crazy.
And it's like Mark Stone going to LTIR.
Right.
Like,
yep.
Nichushkin gets hurt.
It's February. Mark Stone is on LTIR once again. Yep. No, and what's crazy though is I just plugged it in real quick. Out of like 164 possible points in a season, Val Nichushkin, if he played every game based on the last 6 years, you're guaranteed a 123-point season based on getting roughly 75% of your points.
Okay.
Which, it's just crazy.
I'm good with that.
So if he can miss few games, like you said, then it still sets the Avs up to be in a really good spot, because it is crazy how much he seems to mean to this lineup.
I mean, they're going to miss it. Like, his forechecking is nobody's close to him, I don't feel like, on the Avs for forechecking. I mean, they have good forecheckers. Lekkonen's a good one. And
I was going to say Lecky might be the closest.
Yeah.
But there's Val.
But it's not him. His size, his reach, his wingspan, like he does that. And he's got an offensive ability to him. Like, they rely on him for so much, and you're going to miss that. So, this will definitely be a challenge for how long he is out for. And we'll talk about the Sabres game in a little bit here too. So, why don't we get our first break in, and then the guy we just mentioned, Gavin Brindley, he gets a nice little extension, and a good little bit of business for the Avalanche too with this one. So,
I think so.
Let's get a break in, and we come back. We'll discuss that. First, we're going to hear from Drip Drop. And when you want to get hydrated, or when you are hydrated, everything just works better. Your focus, your energy, your mood, even your skin. And that's why you have to use Drip Drop. It's a doctor-developed hydration system that keeps you running at full power no matter what your day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands, using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. So right now, you can order Drip Drop, and they're offering podcast listeners a 20% off of your first order deal. Go to dripdrop.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. That is dripdrop.com. Promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 20% off. So stock up now before hitting the ice, and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. So Gavin Brindley, it's all aces for him right now. He's having a great start of his career with the Avalanche. And he kind of said, like, there's a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, because he felt like Columbus kind of gave up on him a little bit too early. So he's playing with that, and he plays with that chip anyway. Yeah. So he didn't need an added chip, but he got an added chip, and you can see it in his play. And the Avalanche are rewarding him. I guess you could say they're rewarding him. They're paying him less,
right?
But it's a 2-year extension. The first year is a 2-way deal, whatever. If they send him down, he'll make less money. I'm not concerned about the money part of it. No. I'm more concerned that, at least they got him for a couple more years, And then if all goes well, you'll have him for an even longer period of time. But it's off to a really good start in the Gavin Brindley career with the Colorado Avalanche.
Signs for 875 cap hit, looks like. Right now he's at 950. So, I mean, not only are you keeping him under $1 million for 2 more years, but under 900,000 is a bit of a really tidy piece of business. Plus, looking it up, when it expires, he's a restricted free agent, which puts the Avs in the best position to potentially extend him, like you said, get him a longer contract after that too. If he keeps playing the way he has been, there's no reason to think the Avs won't, and that's probably when he makes his payday. My guess, with a little bit of a pay decrease here, is a mix of that chip on the shoulder and a betting on himself intensely and saying, in
Sure.
2 years, I will be showing exactly what I'm worth and I will be getting that paycheck.
We'll see. Like, I think that next contract will be a very interesting one. When that is up, he will be 23 years old.
Yep.
So, depending on what he does for these next 2 years, is going to be similar to the Bo Byram contract. Like when he was at that age, like, do you extend him or do you bridge him?
Yeah.
Because if you bridge him, then he's at the end of that contract, he can be a restricted free agent again.
Yeah.
But then you run the risk of, the better those guys play, the more you need to pay up. So it's, do the Avs at the end of this 2 year, I know we're already talking about the end of this 2-year contract that hasn't even kicked in yet, but you kind of have to, you got to figure out, that's what you got to do as a GM is if you're happy with, going into the second year of this extension of what you think he can become, you sign him to a longer term deal.
Yep.
And I say you run the risk of that flowing into him being an unrestricted, but you always have that backup of you can deal with them in the last year, like you are with Cale Makar, exactly like with Cale Makar. And a lot of people were thinking like, oh, what do they do with Makar as far as a bridge or you go long term? They went longer term. It runs into him being unrestricted, but you have exclusive rights in dealing with him for that last year. So it's kind of a non-factor when you think about that, but when you have that RFA title, it makes teams a little bit more comfortable because you're really most of the time not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So we'll see where this all goes. But I mean, right now I think everybody's happy and he's got, this season and two more years to really produce. And I think you got to love what this kid can provide. And if all goes well, be an Avs for a long time.
And I mean, as far as potentially doing the longer term and putting yourself in a situation like you have with Cale, you on the radio today, I believe Bednar, or on the radio Wednesday morning, Bednar said that Brindley was on CMAC's radar to be drafted in the draft. He was picked up and was picked. I don't even remember how far ahead Columbus was, but a few picks ahead.
Well, it
where
was
the Avs wanted him.
Oh, where the Avs were. I mean, he was second round. It was early in the second round. He was like what was he, second or third pick or something in the second round. And I don't know where the Avs were in the second round of that pick or that.
That's what Bednar said this morning was he was kind of C-Max like target, one of the targets, and ended up getting picked up. And then you end up being able to grab the guy anyway. And then I've actually got somebody had quoted Bednar from Altitude SR Wednesday morning as well. And he says, quote, he comes into camp and he just flat out made our team. He's a dog on the puck. He's done everything we've asked him to do, and he's done it well. End quote. Like, Bednar really likes him. C-Mac really likes him. The fans are liking him, especially right now. To me, this just feels like a brilliant extension for the situation that you find yourself in with this kid.
Right.
Like it puts you in such a good position to have a potential super high ceiling player and then be able to like renegotiate, figure everything out after this 2-year extension is up. So I'm super stoked for the kid to have the team set. And I think it's a good piece of work by the Avs front office.
Sure. Absolutely. And you saying that of what Bednar was saying and how he just came in and like just took a spot, you're going to get guys in his, like where he is with his career, kind of just like putting in just like unbelievable effort in preseason because they want to make the team clearly. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes maybe that goes away, but this is how he's built. Like that wasn't just to make the team. That's how he plays. It's how he plays all the time. And I think the Avs were confident in that. Like, hey, we could give him a roster spot. And that like the want to go back to my Rookie of the Year movie, or no, the have to, not the want to, the have to. Yep. It like they were pretty confident, like that's not going to stop. He's not just doing this just to get a roster spot. He's doing that because that's how he's built. And you're seeing it. Like he just has a motor that doesn't quit. And you feel good about this move. Early returns on this are it's crazy to say that the Avs would win that trade so far. Well, I mean, I know isn't Miles Wood hurt? And
I don't remember if Miles Wood is hurt, but Coyle doesn't look excellent.
What's even he's got? Right I haven't looked him up at all. Let me see what he's his stats are at.
I saw a couple of things on the last Columbus game. Was like, why are you throwing Charlie Coyle out in this situation? This doesn't make any sense. And I think that experiment's not going great in Columbus right now.
He's got 16 games in, 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points.
Okay. Wonder how I haven't watched any of the games, so.
No, I don't get to watch a lot of Columbus games, but so that was 9 points.
Yep.
And I mean Brindley's got 5.
Yeah.
But this is a 20-year-old compared
what's Coyle's
to
cap hit too.
Yeah. Well, for Columbus, let's see what it is.
5.25.
There you go.
So,
and how old is Coyle? 30.
Coyle is 33.
There you go.
So yeah,
I don't want to go there. I mean, I kind of said that like jokingly. I'm not going like about who's winning a trade right now, but
no, but
you feel good about it.
It's not necessarily even like haha Columbus. I'm really looking at this more as the Avs had a relatively expensive aging contract, traded it for a prospect who's working out well that you're able to pop 2 additional years on. And again, I'm not trying to, I feel like this segment kind of turned into boo on Columbus and Coyle, and that's not necessarily what I meant to do. Right. I do just feel like the Avs took a situation that was not going to work out well for them, moved out of it, and set themselves up in a really good way with a very high ceiling player. Yeah. And if there's nothing else that you take away from this segment, let it be that. And not that I'm a huge jerk towards Charlie Coyle.
No, all right. And you got a 2nd-round pick out of it too.
Yeah, exactly.
In that trade. So we'll see what that ends up being. So overall, nice bit of business. I think everybody's happy with the contract, and everybody's happy with the player right now. So, but still a long way to go. And like I said, we're not taking him and sending him up to that second line right now to replace someone like Valeri Nichushkin. Like we're not there, but we're happy with where this potentially could go for him. You've seen, and the Avs feel it too. We talked about it when he had the overtime winner. If they're putting him out there in 3-on-3 hockey, they have high expectations for this kid. And
he's feeling good about him. Yep.
Yeah. He's the drop back pass on power play too, which whatever, that gets 20, 25 seconds.
Yeah.
But they're putting him out here in situations where, hey, we're expecting you to be able to handle this. And he's been doing exactly that.
On power play too, real quick. Does Nathan MacKinnon just refuse to get off the ice for the power plays? Because I'm watching other guys switch and he's just out there like, nope, I will score on this power play. This is my time to do it.
And who's going to tell him no?
You're not going to tell Nathan MacKinnon no on that. No, but
you're not.
He doesn't need to be out there for 2 whole minutes on the power play. Like let the change. Yeah, whatever. But
I mean, let him do it now while he's still in his, he just turned 30, right? Because in a few years, I know, right?
Oh, don't.
Wild. So
I don't like these things. I'm tired of feeling old talking about this, man.
I don't like aging. So, all right. Last break. And on the other side of it, we'll get some predictions from the Subtext crew on the Avs versus the Sabres, as well as our own. So we'll do that next. Going to hear from FanDuel. And yes, the NBA is back. There's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So even if you missed the start of a game or want to ride a hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a bigger shot at a payout. What do you got for the Nuggets? Are they in action as we're talking or no?
I think the game has already started. No, starts soon. They're playing against the Clippers. I think it's in Denver.
Okay.
And at least according to Google, Denver has a 65% chance of winning. And if they are in fact in Colorado, I would say that's a pretty good opportunity that they win this game.
Okay. All right. So you heard it here. Zach is telling you to put that $5 bet down on the Nuggets. And if that wins, you get $300 in bonus bets right into your account. So head over to fanduel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel. It's the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Buffalo Sabres coming to town, and kind of the same old for Buffalo. They were starting to play better following the loss to the Avalanche, which was early October. After that game, they won 4 out of 5. They beat the Senators 8-4. They shut out the Panthers.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, then they lost to Montreal, and then they beat the Red Wings, and then they beat the Maple Leafs. But everybody seems to be beating the Maple Leafs these days. So
what is happening in Toronto?
I don't know. It's funny. They beat the Maple Leafs. There was a home and home back-to-back with Toronto. And so the second game in Toronto, they lost that in overtime. And then they lost another game, the next game in overtime to the Blue Jackets. And then they lost the next game in overtime to the Bruins. And then they had a shootout win and then an overtime loss. So they're going into overtime as much as the Colorado Avalanche are. So maybe put money down that this thing's going into OT, because Buffalo plays a lot of games in overtime. So they were on a good little run, but they're like typical Sabres fashion, coming out on the wrong side of those.
They just can't win games.
No.
I saw something posted. I don't remember on which platform it was, but it was supposedly the moment that the Buffalo Sabres curse started from 2011.
Okay.
And it was I want to say it was Boston, maybe, whoever it was. Opposing team hits the goaltender, and not a single Buffalo player stands up for it. And somebody pinpointed that, and I looked back. I'm like, yeah, actually, 13 years of not good play in Buffalo tracks about right. So maybe that goaltender put a curse on him, like the Chicago Cubs.
It's like a curse of the Bambino.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's so wild to see, because I feel like at the beginning of each season, there's this kind of hope for Buffalo that they're going to turn it around, and then they just sort of do the same thing.
Because they have some good players over there. They really do.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm always like, you can put blame all over the place when a team is bad. You put some on the players, you can put some on the coaches.
Yep.
I gotta feel like I'm leaning more towards the coaching here, and maybe even the front office for lesser reasons. But because I just feel like in my head, man, don't do this. But if you put like Jared Bednar on that bench, like, you could get so much more out of those guys.
You would think so, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you go through that roster and it's like, man, you guys should be better than you really are. I think what's going to benefit the Avalanche for this game is they're playing, as we're recording this, the Sabres are. So they're on a back-to-back. They're playing the Mammoth as we speak, as we're recording this. They're up 2-1 about halfway through the second. So the outcome of that game, like, I have some interest in that because that's the Mammoth. So I'm actually would be rooting for Buffalo to win that game. But regardless, they're going to be, a tired team. I hate using that phrase when it's professional athletes, but hey, like, they can get tired too. Yep. And when it's a struggling team, they probably dislike back-to-backs more than anybody else. So I think that benefits the Avs.
Agreed. I agree. Professional team, you should be able to do kind of what you're asked to do as far as the back-to-backs. But then you look at the Avs loss to the Sharks, at the beginning of the month, and that looked like
And
a
they were
tired
tired.
team.
Exactly.
So, yeah, come on, Buffalo, go empty your tank right now
Yeah.
against Utah, beat the Mammoth, and then just be dead tired to come in
Yep.
and play the
Yep.
Avs tomorrow.
Yeah, good.
The one thing I really like about Buffalo more than anything else, and I think I've said it before, but I will say it basically any time that we play against this goaltender, whatever team he's on, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is my favorite name in hockey to say.
Greatest name in hockey. Greatest name in hockey. It is. Just is. He's not goaltending
Tonight,
this game.
Which
And
means
he's
we'll
not
probably see
hurt,
him
right?
tomorrow.
He's
No,
not
I
hurt.
don't
I
think
thought he
so.
was. I don't think he is. I thought he was hurt earlier in the year. Could be wrong on that, but yeah. Over on subtext, you have some people chiming in on this. Lisa says, "Seems like every time they play the Sabres, it's closer than it should be. Avs will win though, 5-3. Fifth goal is an empty netter. So she thinks it's going to be a little closer. She's right on that. I mean, the Avs have had those comeback victories from last year, which were like two of the best games.
Yeah,
especially one in Buffalo. That one was phenomenal. You don't want to come from behind that much, but especially against Buffalo. But wild game.
Yep.
Wild game. Let's see, Madam Battleaxe. She's not feeling too good about this one. She predicts Buffalo's going to win this. I'm surprised that Madam Battleaxe would do that. 3-4 Buffalo, and she says overtime. But I think this is our sad one. Is it just the Val let down? Like Val's out, so we're just gonna sulk? And you can't do that against Buffalo.
No, you can't.
If you went out and stuck it to Edmonton, the way you stuck it to Edmonton, like there's no trap games for you. There better not be. And here you go. Adam says, even without Val, Avs by a touchdown.
Sweet.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll take
That's
that.
A little bit more like. I mean, you got to think a Buffalo Sabres team on a back-to-back and an Avalanche team with a day off.
Should be good.
Come on, boys. Writing should be on the wall for this one. Put it away early. So what do you think? What's your prediction on this one?
I'm going to go bold prediction.
Okay.
Mackenzie Blackwood's getting the start. Bednar confirmed that on at practice or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to throw the shutout. Mackenzie Blackwood is going to let no goals past him.
All right.
And the Avs are going to put in 3.
I'll one up that. I'll say 4.
All right.
I'll say 4. Maybe it's an empty netter. They 3-0, they pull a goalie and they get an empty netter. So I'll say, but why not? Let's make some shutout predictions. You got to get one. They don't have one yet, right?
No, I don't think they do.
One. No.
Because Wedgwood's really good at letting in the Wedgwood one.
Exactly. So
and Blackwood, this is going to be Blackwood's get into the rhythm of the season game. That's the vibe I get.
It would be good. Like he needs it. Because everybody's riding Wedgwood right now, and rightfully so. But let's get Blackwood into this mix and start having like the tandem talk rather than just it's Wedgwood and nobody else. Let's get Blackwood in the mix here. So a shutout, even if it's against the Sabres, would go a long way for that.
It does. Yeah, it absolutely does. It's the same way we said an empty net goal would reignite Landeskog's confidence.
Yep.
A shutout against even any team. We'll do
that. Yep. So we'll be back tomorrow to talk about that, break that down. Anything else exciting going on in the Avs Nation, we'll talk about that too on tomorrow's episode. So make sure you tune in to that. But for this one, thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen of the day, and for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in the country. Gotta love that. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. He's Mr. Zach Pearson. I am Chris Micieli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast, and you've made it through another 24 hours where Sidney Crosby's that much closer to being the Colorado Avalanche.
There's a second line replacement.